What's up, everybody? Just go to Demonic Hydrophonic. Today, I actually found a new graveyard that is really a lot closer to my house than I thought. Like all the graves, I live in the city, so it's really hard to find a graveyard that you can do work at. You know, like you you really gotta be careful. There's groundskeepers around all the time. You really can't pay them off here. Like I'm sure in other countries you can, but here, you know. It's going to be more of a difficult thing. It's not so traditional to work with the dead here, so you got to be more careful, in my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've experienced with when you're collecting items from the graves. All right, so anyway, I found one that's kind of almost abandoned in a way, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I could do rituals there necessarily, but it's surrounded by a bunch of apartments and. But it's a really cool spot, so I'm gonna check it out, keep on going, and I was just really happy about that because it's like fucking 7 minutes from my house, so that was pretty cool. Uh, I think I mentioned before. I'm pretty sure that there was one time I went to a graveyard, and pretty much every time I go to the graveyard, something cool happens, especially if it's my first time. So one of the times I went to one graveyard and I felt like somebody pulling on my arm, and I ended up going towards where it was. I found a bench, sat down, and it was there was some correlation there with the day that they had died, the month that they had died, and my birthday, right? So something similar happened this time. What happened I was led in a direction. Now I didn't feel like my arm pulled like before, but it was very similar in the way of I was felt it to go in a direction. I just found this random grave, and it was like the person who it was born in November. My birthday is in November, so they were born in November, and they actually died in November. And the dates lined up to where, like, when I added them up, it was my birthday. So that was pretty cool. Another thing was they were born in the 1800s and died in the 1900s. They were born in 1884, and when they died, they were 84 years old when they died. So that was another interesting thing. And there was a couple of other really cool, interesting things that, like numerologically, that was really, really fucking cool. So I was like, all right, this is what I need to do. So yeah, I know I mentioned before I grew up in a grave next to a grave, really close to a graveyard, and I have several stories about that graveyard I haven't really shared, but whatever. So. And Santa Muerte, working with her, she's told me, like in ritual with her and meditation with her, she's told me a few interesting things about my relation to graveyards. So they always felt like home to me. They always felt really, like I always felt comfortable in graveyards, and the energy is really, really. I feel really good in the energy. It's empowering to me. So anyway, this is what brings me to the reason why I'm making the video. So the reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to share a technique that I use in order to incorporate, like if you can't go to a graveyard and actually do rituals there because of like the cops, you think the cops are going to get you, they're going to fuck with you, maybe you're going to fine after, criminal trespassing or some shit. These are things you can do. So what I did is I collect dirt from the graveyards, and when you collect dirt, you collect anything from a graveyard, you're going to want to leave something. Like as a thank you. It's not really necessarily out of fear. I mean, if you're very disrespectful to the entities, possibly eventually they could like lash out at you, things like that. But I do it more out of respect as opposed to fear because they're working with me. They're helping me get to getting receive gnosis and different things, and I want to show them respect back. I want to give them something back. So. That's why I do it, and you can give. I think I've read several different places, and this is a technique that I use. When you go into a graveyard, you give 3 coins when entering the graveyard. There's no technique to do it. Just kind of do it with respect in a way, you know. I know everybody does. Different people do it differently, so that's for the spirit of the entire graveyard. It's like a collective. And then when you go, it's like the death energy. So when you go in to a specific place, and if you're taking it from like you're close to a gravestone and you take it something from there, then it would be like then you want to leave something on that gravestone. So what I did today is I took some dirt, so I left something on the gravestone of the person that I had found, and I left her a gift. And it wasn't like I said, I don't think anybody's visited her gravesite for a long time. It looked like it'd been there a long time, so I'm pretty sure she really appreciated it. So that was a pretty good experience within itself. So anyways, what I do with the dirt is when I get home, like what I do is I put them in jars, like regular jars, like the jars you mix like fucking jellies or whatever the fuck people make. You know what I'm saying, with the tops and shit like that. So you put this in jars, and whenever you're gonna do a ritual, let's say this, like if I want to do a ritual to La Santa Muerte, I'm gonna have graveyard dirt in the jar, and then what I'll do is like give her offerings, and when I burn them, like tobacco, or if I burn her sigil with some blood on it or something like that, what I'll do is when I'll burn that, I'll put the ashes of whatever it is I'm giving to her as an offering inside of the jar, so you know what I'm saying, so it acclimates with the energies. And you can keep on doing this as many times as you want to. And if you want to if you just work with the Santísima Muerte, after you get four jars. I've only used 4. You can do more if you would want to. But I place them, and so now when I do rituals, I place them at different cardinal points. You can do this also with like Belial or other entities, you know, that are related to the death energy. Charnel Bog would be a good one, you know, stuff like that. So and then you place them around at like the cardinal points. So like one west, west, east, south, and west. Oh wait, south, north, east, south, and west, right? So then, or whatever it is, whichever way it is, whichever way you want to do it, right? So you put them there, and then you would ritualistically kind of open the jars. This is what I do. So after I have them all out, I have the 4 jars surrounding me, and I'm sitting facing a direction. Let's say I'm facing north. I will open the first one, put it down, and put it in front of me. Then I'll go to the next one, and then I'll go to the one behind, you know, like in a clockwise or counterclockwise motion, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel works best for you. Clockwise or counterclockwise, yeah. So I go counterclockwise, not for any particular reason. That's just the way I do it. Yeah, and then you do your meditation or your ritual. I suggest just doing it for rituals, because like the energy can get pretty strong, and it's actually pretty fucking awesome, especially if you're doing it at night with the intent of doing something. It's pretty fucking pretty powerful. I've had some pretty powerful experiences. So anyways, that's it, man. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies. Take it easy.